providing net zero energy building solutions to buildings. We are talking about energy efficiency, conservation of energy, and renewable energy, right? As Professor Ramchandra rightly mentioned, that the per capita energy consumption, if it goes up for a country, which means development is happening. I have a slightly different tweaking to that argument. I feel that in today's context, the per capita energy consumption for a country like India, which is a very fast developing country, could actually go down initially because of advent of some of the newest technologies. The per capita energy consumption benchmarks are changing, and the benchmarks are actually going down. The per capita energy consumption worldwide is going down, and for a country like India, we may actually see, while there is development happening on one end, on the other end we may actually see per capita energy consumption dropping and then increasing. I feel that India is such a place where we have such abundant natural resources, and that was the reason perhaps why we were looted for a long time by different people around the world. But we have abundant natural resources. We have the longest, I think 7,500 kilometers of coastline, which is big. So you can imagine the amount of wave energy that one can generate. Dr. Ramchandra spoke about, of course, solar energy and biomass energy and how we could make use of this opportunity that we have. There is also this fantasy or some kind of a thought, what if by using these natural resources, every single district in India can produce its own energy, you completely decentralize energy. But before we think about renewable energy, before we think about producing energy, what should be the starting point? In my opinion, the starting point is we have to look at reducing demand first. Yeah. So if we reduce demand and then should we think about producing energy, I think that will be most optimal. And when we talk about renewable energy today, renewable energy comes at price, and it's way too expensive when it comes to a particular buyer or an owner of a building or an individual. Today, if I have to think about installing solar panels on my house, rooftop of my house, it's not an easy decision because it's way too expensive. So the first step, of course, is to reduce demand as much as we can in a house, in an office, in an industry, in a commercial building. Now, first point of this panel discussion is, of course, getting habitual to reducing demand, right? I mean, how can we reduce energy consumption? Can we be habitual to reducing energy consumption? I again feel that habit can't be forced, right? So it has to be natural. Like people have to naturally feel that yes, I want to reduce energy, and they should be motivated enough to adopt energy conservation measures in a house or in a place they work. The biggest challenge is in most these systems, be it energy conservation side, that is demand side, or supply side, is commercial viability. So if we could think about making these solutions commercially viable in some fashion, then I think people will automatically they will get habitual to energy conservation, because everything boils down to how much does it cost, and whether it is to make something sustainable, and it has to be commercially viable. So I was talking about this concept of what if every single district is self-sufficient with energy. There is this new concept called net zero energy building, which currently we are focused about. See, net zero energy building is a building which produces its own power to meet demand on site. So if every single building in India went net zero energy, then your problem is solved. But then how would that happen? So net zero building energy, is it possible today? It is possible, but it's a commercially unviable thing, if I may say so, because the demands in buildings or in houses is increasing and is so high that having some of these on-site supply-side solutions is extremely commercially unviable. So there are technologies today that have found big commercial viability in building. And technologies, some of these technologies that we are focused on, geothermal technology in air conditioning. Air conditioning at one point in time in India was novelty, and we used to talk about air conditioning. It was something new for us, just few years back, 10 years back or 15 years back. But today it's a necessity. And now that it has become a necessity, people think about how can I save energy. I mean, 10 years back, I would come across people hardly talking about energy saving. They wanted to adopt these systems. Today they talk about energy saving because they have used these systems and it has hit their pockets. And now they think about how can I save energy. So there are systems available, geothermal system, which can actually enhance energy efficiency of air conditioning system by 50-60%. And like you rightly said, Professor Modak, water consumption is another issue. Of course, some of these systems also save water. Yeah.